Today, we're going to discuss how decluttering your life of toxic relationships will be an absolute game changer for you and your mental well being. In a world where social media has transformed the way we connect, it can be challenging to navigate friendships that feel one sided. We all have friendships like that, don't we? Especially if we're people pleasers, and I'm definitely one of those. It can become overwhelming trying to keep everyone happy. Detoxing our friendships might seem like a weird concept, but trust me, it's a game changer. Think about it like this. We're always talking about detoxing our bodies, our minds, our social media feeds. But what about the people that we surround ourselves with? Don't they deserve a detox too? They can have a powerful effect not only on our day-to-day life, but the way we see ourselves and thus our mental health. By letting go of toxic friendships and even perhaps members of our own family that treat us unkindly, we can create a space for new, uplifting relationships that bring us joy and support. And today, I want to share with you how to do just that. If I told you that I used to be a person who would stick with friends no matter what, even if they were draining my energy and making me feel bad about myself, would you be surprised? One such friendship was a friendship I kept out of nostalgia. I had a friend for many years. We would go shopping together when she needed new clothing, as she valued my opinion. Sometimes we would go out in the evening together. Over time, I noticed how she would use her friends for what they could do for her. She was like a queen bee with her friends as all the little worker bees around her. I can almost hear myself buzzing. Whilst with her, she did make you feel a little bit special. But once you weren't in her company, and she didn't need anything from you, she would assume radio silence. No returning texts, no returning messages, or any other form of communication until she needed something again. This went on for years. And I accepted that this was just part of her personality until this year when I had brain surgery. When I sent her videos of my before and after the switching on of my brain stimulator, I waited and waited for a reply. I had seen the little blue ticks, so I knew she'd viewed the videos. And I never got a reply. Not one text, or not an emoji, nothing, nada. So I carried on waiting to no avail. And finally, after 8 months, I decided I would block her number and cease waiting for a response. I'd really thought she would have been delighted with my recovery, as she herself suffers from an essential tremor just the same as I do, or did. And she'd said that I would be her guinea pig so that she could decide whether she wanted to have the operation or not. But no contact said it all. And after all these years, I was done. And blocking her took away the thought that she might one day reply, perhaps when she needed something. I can still recall a conversation I had with an acquaintance many years ago who said, "Imogen, you spread yourself so thin that no one can sustain that amount of supporting other people without burning out. You've surrounded yourself with rubber plants." And I thought, well, that's a bit odd. But he went on to explain, they sit in the corner of your room, you water them, you feed them, dust and shine and trim their leaves, and other than being there, they contribute absolutely nothing in return. They just sit there and wait to be looked after by you. They offer no mutual support, care, or anything other than the bare minimum, if anything at all. They bring nothing to the table other than their presence. No one can sustain that amount of rubber plants in their life. You need to get rid of them. This was before the age of social media. I had never thought of my friendships like this before, and I supposed it took someone looking from the outside to witness what was going on. The truth was, those friendships were holding me back from becoming the best version of myself. They would gossip behind my back, make me feel guilty for pursuing my passions, or simply not be there when I needed them. If you're nodding your head right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So how do we identify these toxic relationships? One major red flag is when you feel like you're walking on eggshells around that person constantly. You're constantly worried about what they'll say or do next. Another sign is when you find yourself feeling resentful or competitive around them. And let's not forget about those friends who only reach out when they need something. Before I carry on, can I ask you a massive favor? If you feel that my channel gives you value of any kind at all, any value at all, would you be an absolute sweetheart and consider subscribing? I'm almost at 1,000,000 subscribers. Well, when I say almost at 1,000,000 subscribers, what I mean is I've only got another 999,002 or so hundred to go. But, who says we little channels can't aim for the stars and be quite happy if we get to the top of the coconut tree, eh? So, that's it, darlings. Could you give me just a bit of a shove over the line? It would be fabulous. And yes, I do appreciate what a massive shove I'm asking for. I digressed. These friendships might not be overly toxic, but they can still be incredibly draining. And the worst part is, we often don't even realize we're in a toxic relationship until it's too late. That's why it's crucial, absolutely crucial, to pay attention to how you feel when you're around your friends. Do you feel uplifted and inspired and supported, or do you feel drained, anxious, and unhappy? Take an honest look at your friendships and ask yourself, are they serving me or holding me back? So what can we do about these toxic friendships? Well, the first step is to acknowledge that they're not healthy for us, and that is a huge step in itself. The next step is to start setting boundaries. And I know that can be hard, but trust me, it's worth it. Start by limiting your interactions with that person or taking a break from them altogether. And remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. Sometimes we hold on to friendships out of obligation or nostalgia. Be honest about why you keep someone in your life. If there's no real connection, or if it causes more stress than joy, it's time to let them go. One of the most powerful things we can do is surround ourselves with positive influences who uplift us and support us. I'm not just talking about social media influencers or celebrities. I'm talking about real people in our lives who make us feel seen, heard, and valued. When we surround ourselves with people who believe in us, we start to believe in ourselves too. We start to take risks, pursue our passions, and live more fulfilling lives. And that's what I want for all of us. The truth is, nurturing healthy relationships is a game changer. It's like a weight has been lifted off our shoulders and we can finally breathe again. We can finally be ourselves without fear of judgment or rejection. And we no longer need to walk on eggshells around those toxic people just so we don't upset them. It's exhausting. And when we have those kinds of nurturing relationships in our lives, we can start to realize our true potential. We start to improve in every area of our lives, whether that's our careers, our health, or our personal growth. In today's video, we talked about the importance of detoxing our friendships and surrounding ourselves with positive influences. Remember to evaluate your friendships regularly. Don't be afraid to set boundaries or distance yourself from toxic relationships. Your mental health and emotional well-being is worth it. If you've ever had to detox a friendship, share your experiences in the comments below. And if you have been, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.